So how's it going, guys? This is Stefan. Welcome back for another video. In today's video, we have a very interesting guest with a really interesting brand, which the brand is based in Canada. So hi, Brian. It's great to have you here with us today. To kick this, could you share a bit about your background in forestry, construction, and how that personal experience led to the creation of the Fitek Gear? I think our viewers are very interested to know about the journey.
All right. Okay. So for most of my career, I worked as a forester on Canada's west coast, and for much to that time, it was on Vancouver Island. I also spent time in a manufacturing facility, which was a sawmill, and I did that early on in my career. And I've also worked as a carpenter, not a lot, but my sons both work in carpentry, so I have often been called on to come and help them out. Like, Dad, we're pouring concrete tomorrow, we're not ready. Can you come help us?
Okay, yes, that makes sense.
And yeah, and so, but in forestry, I was working as a consultant, and we were starting to use tablet computers for, I mean, really, became an essential piece of equipment because all of the information you needed when you were out in the field, all your maps and all the data you were going to capture, you were putting it on an iPad or an Android tablet. And at that point, I was using like a surveyor's vest. So you've got lots of pockets in it. Like I've got one here.
Oh, that's good.
This would be the vest that I would be wearing, and there's lots of pockets to put all the different equipment that you need, and you can put an iPad or other tablets on the inside pocket of it. But I found it was hard to get the iPad into the pocket. It would fall out. I'd fall on it. And I just found it was a terrible way to carry it. And I never liked the vest in the first place because they're made of heavy cotton, and so in the summertime they're terribly hot. If you put a lot of, like you put in the back, you probably have like extra clothing and rain gear and water and food, and it's really heavy and not comfortable. And I had a friend of mine tell me once, he said, well, a vest is only comfortable when there's actually nothing in it.
When it's empty.
And, yeah. But, you load it up with 25 pounds of gear and it's really uncomfortable. So I made the first chest pack for tablet for myself because I was just so fed up with the vest. So I sat down at my grandmother's treadle sewing machine and made one, and I used it for a couple weeks and thought, this is way better. I'd wear it with a backpack so it wasn't as hot. It was way more comfortable. I had better access to the tablet. It was better protected. And then I didn't need it for a little while, so I loaned it to a colleague who then used it for 2 or 3 weeks. And so I phoned him and said, well, can I get it back? And he said, no, you can't have it.
No.
I'm keeping it. So I made another one, and I traded with him. And that got me thinking that, okay, well, maybe there's other people that would like a better way to carry their field gear, and specifically a tablet computer, but there's also, lots of other things you need to have with you. So that started on this journey of developing a product and getting people to test it, using it myself. And so the product that we have now is the result of feedback from probably a few hundred people that I talked to. And so now the front of the pack folds out to support the tablet. You can push the tablet away from your body, turn it portrait or landscape, and it's a way more ergonomic setup. And so but then one of our dealers who sold tablets and drones said, well, if you could do something like this for drones, I think there'd be a real need. There's a real need for it amongst drone pilots. So that led us to develop something for drone pilots. And really, we started selling those really last year. Prior to that, it was just, samples and prototypes to validate that we had a good product. And so you actually, we sent you one of the earlier versions. Not much has changed since we produced that, but there's some small changes that we've made since that. So it's probably a little bit better product than what you've got as a sample. And now, we're looking at developing other products, like a way to carry a camera or an arm to support a camera for videography, and that's a product that we're not ready to go to market with, but I've got a couple videos that illustrate it just to get some feedback from people. And feedback is pretty positive right now. And
That will be interesting. So you're saying that you can attach a DSLR as well. So
yeah, yeah. And it was actually a friend of mine that does wildlife photography who he said that if you had something, I would buy it because the harness I have now is not all that comfortable for like because he's doing wildlife photography. He's got really long lenses, 800 millimeter lens.
yeah, they're quite long and they're quite heavy as well.
Yeah, and so it's heavy, and so he just wants to be able to carry it. He'll put it on a tripod or a monopod when it actually comes time to take the pictures. But he just wants something secure, that's quickly accessible, that he can use to carry it. And so I've tried it out with his cameras and thought, yeah, this is pretty comfortable. This is certainly a lot better than having it on a neck strap or a shoulder strap.
Of course, because you're gonna start to have like some fatigue and some problems maybe with your neck.
Yeah, and then you can carry other things too. Like you could have we have a little pouch that you could put, like extra memory cards, batteries, filters, and things like that in it. And it's all really accessible. And you can wear it with a backpack, so you could have more lenses or camera bodies in your backpack. And our harness is specifically designed to wear under a backpack and be comfortable, because probably 50% of our customers wear a backpack with it.
That's true.
So for photography, that would be important as well, because you're going to need, your other extra camera equipment, but also food, water, rain jacket, all those things. And you can put it in a backpack and put it on comfortably over top of our harness.
That's pretty good. So, a lot of people may wonder what is the difference between a generic strap and dedicated harness system like yours? Because I think many people probably even use something different, but your harness is completely different system than other market, for example.
Yeah. So like with, I think with the alternative being a vest for people that work in forestry or mining or geology or engineering. Like I said, the vests are hot and they're not really comfortable when you have to carry a heavy load.
Yes, when you start to put a lot of stuff, it's going to be very uncomfortable.
And the other thing, the other valuable thing about our product is you can customize it by you can add pockets to the front of it, so you have more storage. You can add like a pouch or a holster to carry, it could be like a small pair of binoculars or a laser rangefinder or a portable radio or spray paint. And so you can customize what you're carrying by adding those pouches
for your needs.
Holsters. And so we sell those pouches and holsters, but you don't have to use ours. You can use pretty much you can attach any pouch or holster to it without too much trouble. For drone pilots, the standard thing is to either put a lanyard around your neck or your shoulders.
I think this is a normal thing people will do. They're going to get like a normal lanyard and just use it like that. But it's not comfortable at all. I tried it myself as well.
What I've been told by pilots is that the lanyard itself isn't really uncomfortable, especially when you have the ones that go over your shoulders. The lanyard's fine. It doesn't, and the controllers are not that heavy.
True.
So the weight of it isn't the issue. The issue is that when you've got it on a lanyard, it puts the controller right against your body. And if you have to look at the display, you have to bend your neck so much to look at it that you get a sore neck.
That's
so
true.
For a drone pilot that doesn't need to look at the display, I think a shoulder harness or a neck lanyard is fine. The controller ends up down by their belt buckle, but it's not uncomfortable. But for a lot of pilots, they have to look at the live video feed to make sure that they're capturing the right video or photos.
Yes.
So like somebody that does inspections, photography, cinematography, search and rescue, they have to look at that live video feed for hours.
And not just that, I think you have to have...
So they're bending their...
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, they're bending their neck excessively to look at that live video feed. It's fine for a couple minutes, but not for an hour.
Here
even
in
half an hour, I
UK,
can
we
slow down.
have to have like a visual line of sight of the drone all the time. So I think this is going to be very interesting because you see your live feed on the controller, but in the same time you can see your drone as well. So
Yeah.
you don't have
So
to.
that's the thing that's unique about our harness is that you can adjust it so that the controller is up high and away from your body so that it's comfortable for your neck. You don't have to bend your head to look at it. And it's so this is what's been explained to me by customers is you put it up as high as is comfortable for your arms and put it far enough away from your body that you don't have to bend your neck to
Bend.
look at it. And then you can watch the drone and the display just by moving your eyes. You don't have to bend your neck to look at the
You don't
display
have to
or the
move
drone.
left and right and up and
Yeah.
down just to. That's pretty interesting. So
That's yeah. That is the like I'd say the best thing about our harness. That pilots also tell me that it's good because they actually get more precise control of the drone because they're not having to support the controller while they're using the joysticks to operate the drone. They can just worry about operating the joysticks. The controller is totally solid. You can rest your hands right on the controller. It doesn't move anywhere.
I
So
understand.
you get, yeah. And I think it's more secure. Like when you're
Yes.
bending over to change the batteries on the drone, you don't have to take our harness off. The controller, it's not swinging around on a lanyard around your neck. It's totally solid. So I was surprised that most pilots don't take it off when they change the batteries on the drone. They just kneel down, turn sideways a little bit, change the batteries, and they're back flying again.
So yeah, I think this is going to be interesting. Building on the quality, where do you source your products, materials to ensure that they meet the high standards?
So we do whenever possible we make the product in Canada. The there's a lot of the components of the drone controller harness. We actually cut them from sheet plastic in Canada. The textiles I've got from Pakistan and from China, and I was doing exclusively in China, but I wanted to just diversify a little bit, and so I tried doing some manufacturing in Pakistan, which actually worked out really well. And I'm really happy. Like China has been great, and it's been really good because I was introduced to a fellow there who we have a mutual friend that lives in Vancouver, and he said, if you're going to do business in China, you need somebody who is going to represent you there. And I have a friend, his name's Peter. He lives in China and he's totally trustworthy. And he has been great to deal with. So he acts as really, we buy the products from him and then he contracts with a shop that does the sewing. And I've been there, several times just to do quality inspections and to make sure they understand what the standards are. And the shop, there's two shops we deal with, and they've both been fabulous to deal with. Like they're great people. They do really nice work, and they're happy to have our business as well. It's been a real pleasure to deal with them.
No, the quality is great because on our previous conversation, if you remember, when I tried the harness, I was amazed. It's really hard to justify that on the camera, but the quality is very good and it's very comfortable. And I think, the quality is going to be amazing. And I think our viewers, when they try the harness and everything, they'll be amazed because it's really hard to justify that on the camera. Obviously, you have to touch the material, you have to use it, but the quality is perfect. Quality is great, actually.
They hold up really well. The only thing that ever fails on them is the main zipper on the pack that folds down. If we have customers that get a lot of dirt on it, and sometimes that zipper will fail when it gets used thousands of times and
Of
it's
course.
really dirty, then the zipper packs it in. But I actually had probably the best indicator of the quality was when I was first starting to deal with this manufacturer in China. I was in their we were in their meeting room and we're looking at samples, and I'm going over the samples, and I'm letting him know that's like, okay, this stitching here is not good enough. It needs to be, further from the edge of the fabric, or this, you need to double stitch this, you need to do that. And the factory manager was just exasperated with me. He was so frustrated because he's looking at it and he's like, it's good enough. And I'm telling him, no, it's not good enough, because if you don't do this and it fails, then it's a big problem for our customer. And all you have to do to make sure it doesn't fail is put a little bit of extra stitching here and here and here and here. And so he just threw up his arms and he said to me, he said, I'd be happy to buy this product from you because you're so picky. And then he went and did the stitching the way I wanted it. But consequently, we rarely get issues like, it's like maybe 2 or 3 out of 1,000.
No, the quality is very good. I know I said that, but yeah, I think our viewers will be pleasant. And focusing on the drone controller harness, how does the design specifically reduce fatigue? I know we already mentioned something about that on a previous question, but can you just explain a little bit more about that? Because I think our viewer will be interested. Already we answered some of the questions about that, but truly I think the design is going to be very good for people doing long hours. For hobbyists, I think for even for half an hour, 10 minutes, it's fine. But imagine you on the field, you're doing some rescue missions, or here in UK, there's a lot of popular jobs like people they do roofing. Some people they do for 7-8 hours. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting our viewer to know about that.
Well, what I didn't understand was that it's not enough to just give people the harness. They need to understand that they need to adjust it so that the controller is up high and away from their body, like I mentioned before. And I didn't really understand that until I had one of our customers explain to me the right way to adjust it. So I thought that's so important. I actually did an interview with him so that he could explain the problem that drone pilots have and how you can resolve it with proper adjustment of our harness for the pilot. That for me, it was an epiphany to understand the issue that they had and how it can be solved. So, I mean, right now, there's not a lot of ways to resolve that issue for drone pilots. They can put it on a tripod, which creates some problems because it's hard to move around. Some they'll bring a chair out to the work site and they'll sit in the chair and they'll prop the controller up on their elbows.
That's not comfortable at all.
Yeah, but I think they're desperate for a solution. Some will, if they have a truck, they'll lean on the back of the truck and hold the controller there. But yeah, so I think it's a big, I see it as a big health and safety issue for a lot of drone pilots. There's so many of them that have neck problems. And one of the clues I had as well was I was talking to my chiropractor and he was interested in it because he'd heard me talking about developing this. And so he said, well, bring it in. We'd love to see it. And so I brought it in at lunchtime. And so he had his coworkers, the other chiropractors, come in and I showed them how it worked. And one of the chiropractors said, for whatever reason, I've got a bunch of clients that are drone pilots. And he said, every one of them has the same problem with their neck. And he said, they're in here every 2 or 3 weeks so that I can fix that problem with their neck. And I thought, wow, that is the employers of these drone pilots needs to do something about this, or they're going to end up with people that can't do their job anymore.
That's very interesting. I noticed in the website your gear is MOLLE compatible. For our viewers, MOLLE compatible means it's a modular system for carrying gear. Could you please discuss some information about this system, because I think the viewer will be interested to know.
Yeah, so it's just there's rows of webbing. Let me show you an example. This is one of the harnesses, and you can see, so there's rows of horizontal webbing on here.
Okay.
And this is a system developed by the US military a long time ago.
Okay.
And so there's rows of horizontal webbing on the harness, and then on whatever pouch or bag you want to attach to this, there's also rows of horizontal webbing. And there's a stave. In our we do it a little bit differently than a lot of people. We have a stave here, and you weave this through the webbing on the harness and the back of the pouch or the holster or whatever the accessory is. And we this is unique in that we went with these staves because they not only do they hold the pouch or holster on the harness, but they also create kind of a rigid, semi-rigid harness so that it forces the harness to keep its shape, which is one of the things that makes it more comfortable. And then because it keeps its shape on the back, you can see there's foam strips here. So there's 3 foam strips. So the only part that touches your body is those foam strips, because those staves keep the harness. It can't bunch up. And so in between the foam, it's just mesh.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that makes it cooler, but it also makes it more comfortable too. So the staves really serve 2 purposes. And so you can attach any, like you don't have to buy our pouches or holsters. You can buy any MOLLE compatible pouch or holster. And even if it's just got a belt loop on it, you can still attach it. You can use you can just tie it on if you want to the staves, or you can use like a zip tie or something like that. When I ask customers for feedback, almost always the first thing they say is it's super comfortable. And nobody ever says that about a vest or a lanyard around their neck or a shoulder strap. People do not say those things are super comfortable. So it doesn't matter what kind of equipment you're carrying, most carrying solutions are not really comfortable. And then of course part of that is that it's comfortable because it's also ergonomic. So whether it's a tablet computer or a drone controller or a camera, it puts the device in a position that's comfortable for your arms, for your neck, for your eyes. If it's the tablet, the front of the pack folds out to support the tablet, and you can adjust it so that the tablet is away from your body, so you don't have to bend your neck too much to look at it. You don't have to support it in your hand. Because I know I kind of define our customer for tablet computers is it's anybody that has to carry a tablet for more than 20 minutes. Because if you've got that thing in your hand for 20 minutes, you are looking for a place to put it down. And as soon as you put it down, it's at risk. You're going to knock it down, you're going to step on it, you're going to do something to it, or you're going to forget where you put it. So this way it protects the tablet, makes it more accessible, gives you an ergonomic and comfortable way to carry it. And so, it doesn't matter what you're carrying, and it's the same harness for all those things. So because we've got several thousand people using it for tablet computers, I knew that the harness was really comfortable. And it's comfortable whether, like if you have to wear a backpack with it, which probably half of our customers wear a backpack over top of the harness. Well, it's designed to be comfortable under a backpack. Like we were very thoughtful and deliberate about making sure that it could be worn with a backpack. And then it's got lots of adjustments. So, I mean, honestly, I can say that it'll almost fit anyone. Like there's 2 people, when we were designing the harness, there's 2 people I had in mind that we had to make sure we looked after. One is a woman who I worked with who is an engineer, but very petite. She tells me she's 5'1", but I think she's rounding up. So she's really tiny. And then there was this fellow in Eastern Canada who he tried one of the first harnesses or first chest packs we did for a tablet computer. He bought one, and then he sent me an email and he said, well, it doesn't fit. I'm thinking, what do you mean it doesn't fit? Like I've tried it on, I've got friends that are like, 6'5", 250 pounds. It fits them just fine. And so then he sends me a picture of himself, and he's like 6'8" and probably 320 pounds. Like wow. And I'm like, okay, I understand now. So we actually modified the one he had so that it would fit him. And then he was totally fine. But we had those 2 extremes in mind when we were designing the harness to make sure that there was enough adjustability that it would fit both those people. And it was a hit. So my really petite friend, she said to me it was the first time that she ever had field gear that fit her. And she'd been working for 30 years and never had a vest that fit her properly. And this fellow in Eastern Canada, he was happy because if he made the straps really long, it would fit him. And even when he was wearing like a winter jacket, he could still fit him. So for people that are, anywhere in between that, it fits no problem. And I do think, I mean, occasionally I'll get somebody who says, well, it doesn't really fit me. And sometimes it's just because they haven't taken the time to adjust it to fit their body. Like you have to spend a little bit of time adjusting it. And so I've got a couple videos that illustrate how you adjust it to get a good
I'll make sure to put some videos on the screen so our viewers can see. And also I'm going to link your channel under the video so people can see full videos, how you use the harnesses and how you adjust it, because I think it's going to be interesting people to see that.
And one of the things that is really important in a lot, like for a lot of our customers that work in industrial areas, they can't have any loose straps that are going to catch on anything. And so all of the straps, they're really long, but that loose end, you roll it up and there's Velcro tabs on it and you secure it with the Velcro tabs. So there's no loose webbing once you're done. So it makes it really safe.
Yes.
Like I actually wear one when I go downhill skiing, I wear one. And one of the things I was worried about was actually getting it caught on the chairlift that you're sitting on. But I just make sure all the straps are rolled up and then there's nothing to catch on anything. And it's keeps you safe. Which is good.
You built a solid foundation. So what is the vision for the next 5 years with the Fitek Gear? What's your plans? Do you have any plans for the future to expand maybe, or maybe some new products?
We always get suggestions for new products, and the focus will be adapting what we have now to suit other needs. And I think that the drone controller harness is really flexible in that, sure, we designed it to carry a drone controller, but if you've got a piece of equipment that you need to carry and we have a way of attaching a quick release to it, you can carry it. And so like this is actually a quick release that we designed for the drone controller harness, and this one's got 2 holes in it. Well, we've done another version of this with a single 1/4-inch bolt in it, and there's lots of different equipment that has a 1/4-inch nut inset into it. So like a camera would be one, but there's also like it could be a LiDAR scanner, or even we've got some customers that want to support like a really large tablet, and it won't fit in our tablet chest packs because it's so big, and they're using the drone controller harness with a bracket that they've bought from another company, and they just have to attach that quick release with the 1/4-inch nut in it, and they can carry, and then they can put that bracket on that holds their tablet. And so I think there's going to be a lot of different uses that come up that we haven't even thought of yet. Like I can think of like pouring, when we pour concrete, pretty well always are using a concrete pump truck now.
Yes.
And the pump truck operator has a big controller that he's operating that pump with, and he's walking all over the work site and standing on concrete forms and scaffolding so he can see what's going on. And the controller is big and heavy, and he's got it on a neck strap.
Oh yeah.
And so I think there's opportunities to look after those types of needs as well. So I'm not really sure right now, but I do think that the design that we've got for the drone controllers is so flexible that it's going to look after lots of other needs.
So there'll be a lot of opportunities and for the future.
Yeah. And this quick release, you can put a heavy controller on it. I actually tested it with, when you put a 10-inch arm on this, 10-inch or 25-centimeter arm, you can hang a controller on it that's up to about 16 kilos.
Oh, that's a lot.
It'll break at 18. And so I've tried it with 12 kilos and walking around wearing our harness.
Can you attach the big controllers, the big massive DJI controllers? Obviously for hobbyists, you get the RC2, which is small, the RCN3, but can you attach like a big massive controller? Because
well, we've made it to, like, this is the bracket for DJI controllers, and it'll fit really any of DJI's controllers that have a built-in display. So that includes like the RC Plus, which is the biggest
So
one.
the Plus, yes, the big one.
And the smaller ones that it'll fit, like I forgot which one it is, but
Is the RC3 there? Yeah, they're small.
yeah, they're much smaller, and so it's adjustable so you can fit any of those controllers. And and really they're not heavy. Even the RC Plus is not that heavy for 20 minutes. But if you're doing it all day,
yes, if you do it for 6-7 hours, 8 hours, if this is your job,
yeah,
I think it's gonna affect. It's not pleasant. Plus, I noticed that when you use the harness, the control harness, your hands are free. So
yeah,
this is very good because your hands are free. You can move around. You can do some other stuff as well. You can use some other tools, some other accessories, which this really gives you flexibility as a hobbyist or professional who obviously they're doing the job for.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be interesting.
And like I said that, like I see our main customers as drone pilots who have to fly missions where they have to look at the display. But I have been surprised. We've sold plenty to people that fly just like mapping missions. So all they do is they launch the drone and they watch it, and they don't have to use the controller at all. But there's quite a few pilots that have bought it for those mapping missions because they say they have to keep their hands on the controller in case a bird comes into the airspace, or one fellow was saying that he'll be flying like an inspection on a solar farm. It's all automated. He keeps his hands on the controller because the solar farms are out in agricultural areas, and he said he never knows when a crop duster is going to come ripping through his airspace. There's no idea they're coming until they're almost on him, and he has to be able to take control of the drone immediately.
Straight away, yes.
And so if he puts that controller down on a table or a chair and he doesn't have his hands on it, he said, I just can't respond quick enough. And actually to meet the regulatory requirements actually say you have to be able to take manual control of it quickly.
Yes.
If you don't have it in your hands, you're not going to be able to do that. So you're not meeting the regulatory requirements.
That's interesting. And final thoughts, if there's one thing which every tech user knew about carrying gear in the field, what will be?
Well, I think that you don't have to suffer with a poor carry solution, and a lot of people do. And it surprises me how resistant people are to change to a better way of doing it. Like lots of people wear a vest, they will tell you it's not comfortable, but I've been doing it for so long, I don't really want to change. Or the drone pilots who have the controller on a lanyard around their neck, who at the end of every day have got a sore neck, they don't have to suffer. There is something better out there.
Thank you. Thank you very much for today's interview. This was amazing. So Fitek Gear specializes in drone harnesses. Also, this was a very interesting for our viewers, especially here in UK. I'm gonna make sure to link all the videos on your YouTube channel in the descriptions down below, and also our viewers will see after a couple of weeks when we make the videos. I think it's gonna be interesting. And if there's any updates or any last thing you want to say for our viewers, yeah, please, you can use the time now so you can share something for our viewers.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Stefan. I'll send you a sample that will allow you to use your drone controller harness. I'll send you a sample quick release that you can attach to your camera so you can try it out with the drone controller harness.
That will be interesting.
I'd love your feedback on it.
That will be interesting. So I really want to try to use my DSLR. Plus, I live in a very greeny area, so it's going to be interesting to capture some interesting videos with the harness. But this is going to be will be soon, so it will be nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really, enjoyed the conversation.
No, thank you very much for all this information. I think our viewers will be interested because, like I said, the solution is there, but not many people are aware about what actually you do. And I think you help a lot of people, and people will start to see that when they start to use Fitek Gear.